please assist me in the meeting. I can see Koitamet, probably the network is having a challenge. Assist me to admit those who are in the waiting room together with Joseph Minor. Minor, if you can hear me, also assist me with admitting people in the waiting room. All right, so I was sharing the story of Richard Branson, and about 17 years ago, this particular gentleman, he decided that he wants to go to the space. You know, when you become a billionaire, you start, dreaming certain funny things. So he said he wants to go there and see the universe from the top. And the guy worked on it. After about 3 years, nothing. After about 7 years, nothing is happening, About 10 years, he launches one of the rockets to go there, and it crashes so badly. But then he doesn't give up. He keeps on working on it and working on it and working on it. And 17 years later, that was last year, the gentleman managed to actually reach the space, and they stayed there for about 15 minutes. And you can see how they were having fun from there. In the space, they say there is no gravity, and you just move around. If you're there, you're weightless, So the guy actually made his dream come true after about 17 years. But then that was a dream that is so scary. And I know some of us, if you are in his shoe, probably would have not gone there because it's quite risky. Even most of the guys, as we were watching him, launching into the sky, the biggest questions in our minds was, will this guy really make it back? But then he took the risk, he believed in his dream, he worked on it, and the guy went, and finally they made it there and came back. Today is the only man who actually made it to the space safely. Other billionaires are still working on it, but the guy has already made it. So he believed in the power of his dream and went for it. So the question is, as you are doing this business right now, what dreams are you having? What are some of the dreams that are pushing you so hard? And the next question is, are they big enough? Are they dreams that can wake you up? Are they dreams that will keep you going even when things are so tough? Is it a dream that you've invested so much into that you cannot give up along the way? So one of the things that really motivate guys to do well in our business is what we call charity, wanting to help other people. And I always advise, if you really want to make it big, detach yourself from just the dream, have a dream that is even involving other people outside there. For example, let's say you want to go help, probably guys back in your village, build maybe a dispensary, a hospital, dig boreholes, do something for other people, support the orphans, pay school fee for other people. Some of you guys were supported in those manners. So if your dream is to one day, go support in charity, make it big enough. I always share with one of my downlines, so ananiambia he wants to have the biggest children home in Kenya, having like 5,000 people. That is Gideon. So that's a big dream. Definitely it can, move mountains. Number two, some of us would want to have big teams, teams that can fill the entire stadium in Kasarani. And if that is your dream, then you'll be very meticulous on how you do your things, the orientation, the duplication, everything. Some of us, as I said earlier, you want to own big homes. Some of us want to drive those nice cars. Some of us, you want to be on vacations. For some of us, they want what we call good health. They're really obsessed with, living healthy and for long. Some of us, we are having the dreams to be great investors in this country. You grow to a level, you even become a billionaire. Some of us, you want to own property, you own some real estate, very big projects, maybe in Kitengela, one of the leafy suburbs here in town. And some of us, our dream is to, hit certain achievements and recognitions. For example, here in Africa, we still don't have a Diamond Global Ambassador. What if you make it a goal that one day you are going to be the first Diamond Global Ambassador that we are going to have? What if you make it a goal that one day you want to become the top earner, not only in Kenya, not only in Africa, but the entire world? So let's make our dreams big enough. And as we do this, let's study those who are already doing some of these things so that we can develop that belief to go outside there and put in the work that is going to get us there. Then the second secret to becoming a 7-figure earner is what we call becoming an expert. Now, for you to make it big as well, you cannot operate, from the point of not knowing even what you are doing. You have to be an expert. You have to be a professional. So the question is, who is an expert according to you? I want us to interact in the chat box. Who is an expert according to you? Who is an expert according to you? Who is this person that you can describe as an expert? Is it someone who can train others? Is it someone who can teach others? Is it someone who can do, proper research or good research? Is it someone who has just graduated? He has gone through a course and graduated. Who is this person that we can call an expert? Now, some of us are say in the chat box that this is somebody who does something very well, okay? Another person says he's a pro. Another one says someone who is good at something, someone who is skilled in a certain discipline, multi-time pro, okay? Someone who is great at something, someone who has specialized in certain skills. Someone says someone proficient at what they do, a force to reckon with in what they do, okay? Most of you are right. Now, for you to become an expert, the requirement is very simple. You have to be in the top 1% knowledge level in the industry that you are in. If, let's say you are a footballer, you have to be in the top 1% knowledge. That means you are one of the best. If probably you are a networker, you have to be in the top 1%. You are among the best in what you do, And one of the ways to become, top 1% knowledge level within any industry is very simple. It is not very difficult. They say you only need to read about 5 books. You only need to read about 5 books for you to become a professional in any industry, any topic, any subject matter. And a lot of us, we don't like reading. Like me personally, from high school, I never liked reading. But the moment I learned that for me to become an expert, I have to go through these books. I have to study. I went on to pick a few books that were very important, and I started going through them slowly by slowly. I don't have to kill myself with reading. But then I started by reading just 1 chapter a day, a few pages a day. And along the way, I've actually developed the habit of reading over time. And today I read a lot because I know the moment I'm in the 1% knowledge level in any subject matter that probably I want to master, already I'll be an expert in that area. So as a network marketer, there are 5 areas that I'll highly recommend that you have to go through. So the first one is network marketing. Pick 5 books and go through them thoroughly. The other day, we recommended these 5 books. Number 1 is your first year in network marketing. Make sure you study that book religiously. And as you read, don't just read for fun. Don't just read for fun. Read and take notes as if you are going to train the next day. In fact, not just as if, read, take notes, and train it. Train it when the knowledge is still very fresh in your mind. Number 2, as a networker, you need to master what we call leadership, because everything rises and falls on leadership anywhere in the world. So you need to master this as well. You need to master communication. Pick 5 books. Oh, sorry, I was mentioning the books for network marketing. Your first year in network marketing, we have GoPro. We also recommended, this book called Compound Effect. We recommended prospecting rules. And the fifth one was, let me see if you guys were with us in the other training. Your first year in network marketing, we recommended GoPro, we recommended prospecting rules. We recommended a number of books for you. So make sure that you go through these books. The Business of the 21st Century. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kibet, for sharing that. So make sure you go through them. Then apart from communication and leadership, you also need to be very good in what we call internet marketing. Internet marketing, how do you push your business online? And one of the things that I've noted with most of the top earners all across the world, most of them are very proficient with how computers work, how internet works and all this. The top earner in Africa is quite good with computers. He actually studied computer software and all this. Look at our top earner in Alliance in Motion in Africa as well. That is Mr. Okoli. The guy studied as well computers. Look at Joseph Lim in the Philippines. So internet marketing, because internet is what is thriving today, we have to go on YouTube, we have to learn more how we can maximize on the internet and all this, and it can really help you to skyrocket your business. So as I said, read as if you are going to give a training on that topic. You're going to understand better and you're going to internalize better. Then make sure that as you are reading, you are taking down important notes in your journal. And these journals are very important. Personally, I have my own. I have like 3 copies so far that I've written since I joined the business. And if you ask me to do any training, it doesn't take me long to prepare because the trainings are already there. I've actually prepared almost everything in network marketing. I also have slides on my laptop. So make sure you journal, as you are reading, journal some of these things so that you can have a copy of the teachings you've learned so that you can train other people later using these particular powerful notes that you are creating. Then you also have to invest in seminars. A lot of us, when you hear there's an event, there's a training and tickets are being sold. Some of us are so stingy, you don't want to invest in your knowledge. And guys, if we want to become experts, if you want to get to the top, then we must be willing to invest in ourselves. Warren Buffett says one of the greatest investments you can put your money into is investment in yourself. Investments to make you better. So whenever you hear there's a seminar, whenever you hear there's a powerful training that is happening, maybe there's a powerful speaker that is coming, make sure you are there. If it requires you to pay, let's say 10,000, pay it. If it requires you to pay 50,000, you have to make that sacrifice. And most of the top leaders, they'll tell you how much they invest. Personally, my mentor, one of my mentors in the UK, the guy says every year he uses like 50,000 US dollars. 50,000 US dollars is about 6 million here in Kenya shillings. And every year he spends that with mentors, to guide him, coach him. Despite already being a multi-millionaire monthly in terms of earnings in network marketing, the guy still invests in himself. And then we also have to attend these online courses and trainings, like whatever we are doing right now, be part of them. Now, I want to share with you a story of this guy called Jean-Paul Getty. He's one of the richest men to ever live on earth. And I think Joseph shared the other day. Now, Paul Getty, before he became rich, he decided to go into the industry of mining. There was a time when mining was one of the things that would easily make you a lot of money. People are not into it. So Jean-Paul Getty, he decided to study. He decided to study. He told himself, I'm not just going to go into mining, by guessing. Probably buying a piece of land where people say, here there is gold, here there is petroleum. He said he's not going to do that. So he decided to read every material he could find about geology, about mining and all this. And Jean-Paul Getty got into the top 1% knowledge level when it comes to minerals and all this. And with that knowledge, this guy went ahead to become one of the richest men on earth because he really invested in his knowledge. Another story that I can give, which is captured in Think and Grow Rich, is that story of the man who sold his piece of land, for at a throwaway price to one of his friends, only to realize later that he was so close to the gold that he was looking for. But then you realize the person he sold the piece of land to, he didn't just come and start mining. The first thing he did was to hire, experts, to hire geologists, to study the rocks, study what was happening underground. And when these guys studied the ground, they told him, you are so close to getting your gold. And a lot of us, the only reason why you are going to quit is because you are not willing to learn. You're already in the gold mine, but then you don't know, you are not aware. So I want us to go and, do more research. Don't just be any networker. Don't just rely on what we are telling you, consume, and at your own time, also go and dig deep, find out what is it that I can do on my side to get to the top. Again, experts are the ones who get paid a lot of money. Look at this guy called Cristiano Ronaldo. I understand is one of the highest paid footballers in the whole world today. But then if you look at the way this guy probably does his trade, which is football, he does it at the highest level, as an expert. The guy trains, I believe he still reads on certain topics like his dieting, the exercises he needs to do to remain quite fit at his age. I was reading an article the other day. At 37, this guy was still, receiving the most awards in Manchester United. 37 years old. Most of the players at 37, they're already retiring. But then today at 38, he's still one of the highest paid because he also decided to become an expert at what he does. So if you really want to make it big in our industry, we definitely have to become great experts at what we do. Now, the biggest problem that there is that usually a lot of people, when they get to the top, what happens? They get comfortable. They get into what we call a comfort zone. I want you to type in the chat box, comfort zone, comfort zone. All right. When they get to the top, they enter their comfort zones. All right. So type in the chat box, comfort zone, so that I know we are together. And this is the biggest mistake that you can do because success does not it doesn't like to stay in a place where it is not being grown, It always wants to go higher and higher and higher. And the moment you become an expert and you stop doing the simple things you are doing, probably the success is going to leave you quite soon. So when you get to the top, guys, the grind continues. You need to even become better because there are only two things that can happen. It is either you are growing or you are decaying. So you choose the one that you are going to be. When you get to the top, there is another level to what you can do. So let's keep on striving. Let's keep on using the gifts we've already gotten, the knowledge we've already gotten, because the law of use and misuse says if you don't use something long enough, then definitely you lose it. Like from history, they were saying that we guys used to have tails. I don't know how true it was, but the moment we stopped climbing trees, the tail disappeared. While the other of your brothers called monkeys, they still have their own because they are using it all the time. So make sure that when you get to the top, make sure you are still using, the expertise, the skills you've gotten, use it to impact others. And you remember the story of the talents, the parable of the talents. It is just the same as, whatever I've been explaining. So in the book of Matthew 25:14-15, it says, "For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted them with this property. To one, he gave 5 talents, to another, he gave 2, and to another he gave 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. So when the master came back, he asked them to give him an account of what did they do with the talents that they were given, only to realize that the one who was given 5 and 2, they actually doubled the talents they were given. They used it well, they used it quite well. But then one of them, he decides to go and keep the talent safe, bury it somewhere where thieves cannot get it, He didn't use it to trade because he feared losing. But then when the master came, he was not so happy with this guy because he never used his talents in a productive way. So whenever you get to the top, guys, you can still go much, much higher. You can still impact people even more. So let's keep on using our abilities, our skills, whatever gifts we've been given or we've gained over time. Let's use it still to impact the growth of our organizations till the end. So that is number 2, becoming an expert. I've never seen anyone who made it without becoming an expert. And if you make it by mistake, you'll definitely go back. So let's keep on reading, let's keep on learning, let's keep on attending the trainings until we get to the top. So secret number 3, you need to create a game plan. You need to create a game plan. And when we talk about a game plan, I'll probably simplify it into something that we can easily understand. That is what we call goal setting. That is what we call goal setting. So we've already looked at the dreams. We've already looked at you becoming an expert. Now, number 3, I want us to look at goal setting. How can you set your goals properly such that they are going to have an impact in how you run your business? And goal setting is one of the most powerful things that you can learn. It is one of the skills that most of the top earners I know, they use it quite well, because truth be told, at one point in your business, you'll feel like giving up. At one point in your business, you'll feel like nothing is working. At one point, you'll feel like whatever you are doing, it's not taking you anywhere. And I know some of us, we've gotten to those situations. I personally experience them most of the time. Sometimes you're working so well, everything is okay, but then something negative just comes into your mind or passes by. And for me, anytime these things happen, I review my goals again. I go back there, look at them again. I create new commitment to the goals, and it solves my problems all the time. Anytime things are not working, I have to stop doing whatever I'm doing, and I go back and look at my goals. Because they say if the why is big enough, if the reason why you are doing something is big enough, then you're going to make sure that you actually accomplish that stuff, to the end. So let's look at goal setting. Now, Jim Rohn says, it is the set of sails, not the direction of the wind, that determines which way we will go. It is the set of sails, not the direction of the wind, that determines which way we will go. Now, there are a lot of winds in life that actually blow on us. Some of them are economic, some of them are social, you have problems all over. We have challenges here and there. Sometimes the economy might not be so good. Sometimes your spouse might not be supporting you to do this business. Sometimes the conditions of where you are, probably where you're working, where you are staying, the conditions might not be good. But then we say the direction of the wind does not really matter. The wind that blows on you at that point, it doesn't matter. What matters is, how you set your mind. How do you set your mind every time things are not going on the right way? So every time you experience such kind of scenarios that I've been explaining, then you only need to set the sail right. And that is where we go back to your goal setting process or your game planning process. So let's look at a few steps that can help you to fix that problem within the shortest time. And this one, I'm referring to one of the powerful techniques that has been recommended by one Napoleon Hill. If you know, Napoleon Hill is the author of this powerful book. This book is the most read book when it comes to how to achieve success at anything, not in network marketing, at anything. And he recommends 6 simple steps that you can use to set your goals every time. And these 6 simple steps, they are very powerful. They are very powerful. I can confirm that because I've personally been using them and they have helped me so much. So step 1, fix in your own mind the exact amount of money you desire. Fix in your own mind the exact amount of money you desire. For example, right now, I don't know what you're working on, but how much money would you probably want to make out of this business? Now, don't just think about it, fix it in your mind. That is the word, fix it in your mind. Concentrate on that figure until you feel like you can see it for real. You know, you need to see it in your brain first before you can actually hold it in your hand. So fix it in your mind. Let's say you want to make, let's say 4 million this year. All right. So try to focus your mind on that 4 million. I want you to see it in your bank account. You know, close your eyes maybe for a few seconds and try to see that money, you know, coming to you in physical form. How will 4 million look pale kwa bank balance? You know, kuna kwanga na available and actual balance. I don't know which one is the right one. Actual balance, I think. So see it there on your actual balance. If you're like Nyamai who wants to see it at home, I want you to look at it in your safe. You know, you buy a safe where you put those 4 millions back in your home, but you have to be safe to do that. So fix that figure in your mind. Once it is fixed in your mind and you can see it quite clearly, you are a step closer to getting it. Then number 2, fixing it in your mind is not enough. You have to determine your why for the goal. Why do you need this 4 million this year? Why do you need this 4 million this year? If you had this 4 million, you know, what would be happening to you? Let me give you my own example. Like this year, my target was to make, about 40 to 50 million. 40 to 50 million this year. And every time I always set my mind to think about it and I look at the reasons why. You know, the reasons are very clear to me. In fact, when I see the money, I see whatever is already happening to me. You know, I see the way I'll be arriving in town. I see the kind of belief that probably my team will be having once they see this kind of results coming from the leader. And number 2, you have to determine exactly what you are going to give in return for what you want to receive. You know, there's nothing like you are going to get something big without sacrificing anything. Everyone who has achieved great things, they have sacrificed. They have sacrificed. For Cristiano Ronaldo to be that fit, this guy doesn't take soft drinks. Some of you, if we deny you the chance to drink soda, some of you, if you are denied the chance to drink, you know, alcohol, you would even kill yourself. But then for you to get to that goal, there are some things you have to sacrifice for you to get there. Like personally, I know very well I have to sacrifice sometimes family time. I know that. Sometimes I have to, you know, work extra hard into the night. I have to wake up. Sometimes I don't want to do certain things, but I know I have to do them because the success that we desire, they actually demand that we sacrifice 1, 2, 3 things. So some of you want to become big in network marketing. When we tell you wake up, you cannot wake up. You know, this guy he wants me to suffer in the business. You know, we tell you to sacrifice some money, add accounts. You know, you don't want. Personally, I remember when I was new, let me tell you this. This is how I added my accounts. I actually didn't eat most of my money for the first 6 months. I never ate my money. You know, I was still receiving pocket money from my parents. So I was never using the money I was earning. I was using it to add my accounts all the time. And that was a sacrifice I had to make. I could use this money to go on vacations. I could use it to treat my friends. I could use it probably to get to a bigger house. But then I decided at that point, the priority was to sacrifice and, put in more accounts. And within 7 months, as I always tell you, this business was paying me crazy. When I called guests to read my accounts, everyone was wondering how did he do it? And that is when guys started adding accounts. So you have to sacrifice something for you to get that goal in return. And make sure you determine your why, because the purpose is usually very important. We call it the true motivation. So that true motivation, you have to make it quite clear, all right? So step 1, fix it in your mind. Step 2, determine your why or your purpose for the goal. Then determine exactly what you have to sacrifice for you to get to that goal that we're talking about. Then number 3, you have to set a deadline for your accomplishment. When do you want to get this goal? It should never be open-minded. For some people, they say, if I make it in 4 years, it's okay. 3 years, it is okay. People work with deadlines. And even if we go back to the billionaires that I've been mentioning today, they have deadlines for all these things. Richard Branson had a deadline to land, to reach the space. Elon Musk has had a deadline to land some of his rockets on the moon. Is it the moon or Mars? On Mars. So they usually work so hard such that if they're not hitting the deadline, then they have to work extra harder. And we have to get that kind of mentality as we run our business. Have deadlines for everything that you want to do. Probably you want to increase your accounts. Why not have a deadline for it? You want to become a millionaire circle member. Have a deadline for it. You want to become a silver executive, have a deadline. You want to become a junior leader. You want to become an elite leader. Have a deadline for all these accomplishments. Because without deadlines, nothing big is going to happen. Let me tell you why most of the employees perform. It is because they have deadlines. Your boss tells you, if I don't get that report by the end of the week, you are no longer going to be here. So the guy is willing to go to the extremes just to get those things. For those of us who love watching movies, if you love watching these movies of, drug dealers, they say you can learn a lot from these guys than from a university professor who teaches economics or business. These guys, they work with deadlines. If they tell you you have to do it, you find a way. You don't give him excuses. If they tell you do it within 2 hours, I'm waiting, or probably your family dies, you've already been given a deadline and you'll have to go do it. So if you have that mentality of, accomplishing your goals within a time frame, you're going to accomplish so much within our industry. So for your goals, have a deadline for them and don't be mediocre, work hard. Work hard for these goals to actually become a reality. Then step number 4, make sure you create a definite plan. Create a definite plan and put it into action immediately, whether you are ready or not. Whether you are ready or not. So some of us, we usually wait, I'm still reading. I'm still attending seminars. I still can't prospect. You don't have to wait for that long, Create that plan and start working on it, because the truth is, nobody has everything figured out, including us. The way we are running this organization, BSC, we have not figured everything 100% out. But then we have a plan and we are fixing the plan slowly by slowly. Every single day things are getting into place. And when we have our meetings, we sometimes celebrate the small wins that we're already achieving. But then these are things that, they are just coming into place one by one. So create that plan and start working on it. Now, step 5 is very important, very, very important. Write out a clear, concise statement with the 4 steps above. That is what your goal is, what you will do in return to achieve it, the date you intend to get it, and describe the plan through which you will acquire it. You know, a lot of us, we have goals, but they are not written down, they are in your mind. And it is said that goals have to be written down. If you don't write them down, then automatically you cannot have them in your hands. So first step is write them down. Then describe it in that manner that we've written there. Then step 6 and final one. Now this step is also very important because how do you attract success? Let me explain it to you. They usually say that the heart, our heart, it produces what we call electric currents. Produces electric currents. Then our brain is like a magnet. It also produces some magnetic energy. And the moment you love something, the moment you think about something all the time, the two of them, your heart and the brain, they are going to create something we call an electromagnetic field. And this electromagnetic field can attract anything that you want. And that is how people become successful. You know, that is now the science of getting rich. And step 6 says, read your statement twice daily, in the morning and at night. But as you read it, you need to see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your goal. See, feel, believe yourself already in possession of your goal. Now that is how you attract anything. That is how you attract anything. If you decide to focus on negative things, you'll attract them. If you decide to focus on the positive things, you are going to attract them as well. So I want us to use the power of our brain. I want us to use the power of our hearts. You know, attract big success for yourself. So once you write this statement of your goal, you know, read it daily, in the morning, in the evening, in the morning, in the evening. And trust me, within no time, you'll just find things falling into place. We are going to attract the success naturally, and you'll have everything that you wanted. So anytime you feel down, you know, revisit your goals, and see them. All right, allow me to reshare. I want to play a video. Let me reshare my screen. I didn't put the sound factor in. So confirm to me if you can see my screen. Can we see the screen once again? All right, so we can see it. So I want you to listen to this video. Listen to this video. It's a very powerful one.
I'm going to give you the 2 scriptures that changed my entire life. Now, I had heard these scriptures growing up, but it didn't sit with me until I was homeless. The first scripture, you have not because you ask not. Now listen to me. I cannot tell you how important that single scripture is. A lot of the problems I was having, and you may be having just like me, is because what I was asking God for was the wrong stuff. I kept going to him too small. I was praying for stuff that really didn't need that much of a prayer. Lord, help me make my rent. Well, don't he always? Don't you always get your rent? What about if you change that? Suppose you said, Lord, help me make my mortgage. You think God don't know you ain't got the down payment? You really think God don't know you need another job? He know all of that. But if you don't ask him for it, he can't. God don't give you what you want. He give you what you believe. See, you've been blowing it. If you up your ask, he ups his give. That's his promise. You have not because you ask not. Lord, help me fix my car so I can make it to work. Stop praying over these raggedy cars. Why don't you ask God for a car that don't need fixing? Oh, you think that's too big for him? Is that it? So you don't ask this great God for big stuff because you don't see how you can get it. You're not supposed to see how you can get it. You're just supposed to ask him for it. See, the how-to is none of your business. You keep getting in the way of the blessing because you all up in the how-to part of it. Show me the scripture where he tells you to figure out how to do anything. He don't ask you to how-to nothing. You have not because you ask not. Second one, you don't have it written down. Everything you're asking God for, it has to be written down. This is not a theory. This is another scripture. I'm going to give it to you. It's in your Bible. Habakkuk 2:2. It says, write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time. Wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. That's in your Bible. That's in the copy you got. That ain't in the rich people's Bible. That's in the copy you got. It's in the drawer at the hotel. It's Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain. Everything you want, you're supposed to write down. I'm telling you, man, this is how it works. You know, some rich people don't really have degrees. Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, they ain't got a degree between them, but they got more degrees working for them than a thermometer. Education ain't in the Bible. Harvard is not in there. UCLA is not in the Bible. You just need the word. You need to know what it's saying applied to you. You know why? Because it's a promise of his. He ain't never lied. He always come through. If I was you, I'd try that. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. If somebody came and told me to do that, I would at least give that a try. Those two scriptures can change your mind. It'll change your whole life. Thank y'all for coming.
All right, so I hope you got that point. Let me go back to step 5 as you guys are asking. So Steve says, you have not because you ask not. And you know, the process of asking is just a matter of goal setting. That is how you ask God, not just through praying, you know. Prayer is one of them, but then goal setting is also another one. The moment you decide to write something down, you are now commanding the universe that this is what I want. So goal setting process, we really have to master it. If you want to get to the top, it is one of the things you have to do quite well. And you have to see it with your own eyes every now and again, every morning, evening, before you go to bed, when you wake up, you know, you have to see all these things. And he says, you know, ask better. Instead of asking for rent, you know, ask for mortgage, that is a home. Instead of asking God to fix your car or give you fare, you know, why not ask for a good car, 0 mileage? You know, you only need some good money for you to import some of these things. And as he says from Habakkuk 2:2, your dreams, your goals have to be written down for them to actually work out for you. So let's proceed to step number 4, and we call this massive action. Massive action. So step 1, or secret number 1. Secret number 1, we said you have to have the ability to dream big. Number 2, we said you have to become an expert at your trade. Whatever it is that you do, become an expert. Number 3, you have to create a game plan or be very good in goal setting and stick to it until it happens. Then step number 4 is what we call massive action. Massive action. Now, when I got started in the industry, that was back in 2016, the month of June. That is in network marketing. My upline then, it was one of my good friends. The guy took me through some training for 1 week. It was very rigorous training. And the moment he was done, he told me, Moses, now I'm going to give you the formula for success in this industry. And he told me this formula, you write it in capital letters. And I want you guys to do the same on the chat box. And every day when we were done with our training, you know, he used to teach me how to prospect, Then we go how to invite, we go how to do presentation. So as he was teaching me all this, every day we finished by writing this. No, it's not massive action. This is the formula. Massive success, this is what I want you to write. Massive success equals skill times massive action. Write it as big as you can on your notebook. And every time you train someone, maybe a downline of yours, I always want you to finish with this, because what this guy put in my mind every time he was training me was that for me to actually get results, I cannot do little and expect so much. He actually put it very plain to me. If I only want one guest in the office, then I have to talk to 10. That is what we call massive action. If I want to have 5 guests in the office, then I have to talk to 50. I have to make 50 calls. If I want 10, I have to make those 100 calls in a day. And the moment you understand this simple thing, the success will come to you automatically. Everything you do, make sure you put in massive action. Skill alone is not enough. You have to back it up with very massive action. Put in a lot of energy, a lot of work to get you there. And immediately we are done with this orientation, I decided to, do my best. And I always say I was one of the people who grew very fast, especially in that company. And when I joined this business, they say if you do something once, you can easily do it again. I was not very serious at the beginning, but I remember in 2017, that was in the month of September, October, November, and December. Actually, let's start from October. From October going forward, it was at that point that I made a goal. Within 3 months, I wanted to buy my first car. I actually made that goal in September, end of it. So I decided to take extreme massive action within that period. It was a 3-month period. And that was the time I used to get to my house, at night, and, you even forget to cook. Sometimes I used to be prospecting, you're already in bed, you are prospecting, and you wake up in the morning, you find you had put an advert. Instead of pressing post, you stopped there. So I wake up at 4 a.m. and, I continue posting whatever I had left at night. So I really put in massive action. And guys, the results were crazy. The kind of results I got in that period in 2017, it was great. And it helped me to buy my first car, which also exploded my business completely. And 2018 was a great year for me because I put in massive action. And I know some of us, we have very serious goals that are dear to our hearts right now. In fact, as BSc this year, we have great things we wanted to do. I want to challenge you guys. If you really want to get the massive success or massive results, then we have to go to the extreme. You have to go do those 5 presentations each and every day. For some of us, you'll have to push yourselves, maybe put those 10 to 16 hours every single day. Put those 10 to 16 hours every single day. Sometimes you'll have to sacrifice weekends. You might not take weekends. That is what we call massive action. Some of you at night, as others are sleeping, you'll still be doing posters. I saw Team Titans were doing a great job the other day. And it reminded me back in the day when I was just starting up. These are some of the things I used to do. I used to work in the office. Sometimes I go to the library, I continue my prospecting, when I didn't have bundles, there's free Wi-Fi there. At night, we still continue doing activities. My roommates, they sleep, I'm still awake. They wake up, they find me, I'm still grinding. And because of that, in my first year alone, it created crazy results for me. With the old system making about 2.7 million in the first year, that was crazy results. But then it didn't come just by, sitting around and, just enjoying around. It was massive action that we had to put in at that point. And guys, one of the secrets that I also learned quite early is that if you really want to grow to the top, you have to outwork everyone. You have to outwork everyone. In fact, one of the simplest strategies to become a top earner in any company in network marketing, it's very simple. Let me share it with you. Identify the top earners within that company and study them. Study them, because at that point, there'll be your competition. Study Moses, how much does he work? How many trainings does he do, And once you identify what these guys do, just go ahead and outwork them. If I do 3 presentations, do 5, do 6, If Moses is working 10 hours a day, do 12, do 14, do 16. Now, if you outwork these people long enough, automatically you are also going to out-earn them over time. And this is something that we have implemented before. It has worked. Personally, I've identified top earners severally, and I made sure that I was working harder than them, I'm following their status, I'm following their Facebook posts, Instagram, and I make sure I'm doing the most, better than these guys. And within no time, you find the company is already ranking you above them because you are outworking them. So let's outwork ourselves. Let us outwork our competition. We want you to be the hardest worker in that team where you are in. If you are in the Trigger office, work harder than everyone. If you are at Sanlam, work harder than everyone. If you are in Bazaar, work harder than everyone. If you are in Kenya Complex, harder than everyone. And trust me, over time, you are going to be one of the icons in the industry. Now, one of the people that I really loved his work ethic is someone that we call Kobe Bryant. And this guy became the GOAT, before he passed on. He was one of the icons within the basketball. And I want you to listen to what this guy says about him. And this is the mentality that maybe some of you will need if you really want to, fight for those top positions. Because trust me, guys, those who are there are crazy. Joseph Lim is crazy about his business. When he eats his business, he sleeps his business, he's working out his business. Top earners in Africa, Elias Muhozi, I don't know if it was yesterday I was sharing with the leaders, that these guys, they work like crazy. Sometimes I watch their status, I see what they are doing on Instagram live and all this, and I say, wow, if somebody who is already making 10 million, 20 million is doing this, then what are we doing? What are we doing down here? So listen to this guy.
First time I tried to commit suicide, I tried to cut my wrist. I have this tattoo on my wrist that says believe, because my mother's always talked about either if you don't believe in yourself, then who's going to believe in you? And I think that was one of the benefits of being an athlete that was always overlooked, in my opinion. It forced me to work harder. Look, I always try to outwork people, right? That's just how I made my mark. So the game was at 7. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come to the Staples Center, because we were playing, this is when the Lakers had Kobe and Shaq. Okay, this is like the championship Lakers. So, I'm gonna get there at 3 o'clock. And I wanna make sure I make 400 made shots before I go back into the room, and then I sit in the sauna and I get ready for the game. Who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant, already working out. So once I set my foot across that line, I started working out. And so I worked out for a good hour and a half. And when I came off, after I was done, I sat down, and of course I still heard the ball bouncing. I look down, I'm like, this guy's still working out? So he was working out. Like, it looks like he was in a dead sweat when I got here. And he's still going. And it's not like his moves are nonchalant, lazy. He's doing like game moves, I sit there and I unlace my shoes. I'm like, I want to see how long this goes. Let's get out there and watch. Another 25 minutes. And he got done. I said, okay, I think I've seen enough. Go play, come back, get in the sauna, get ready for the game. That game, he drops 40 on us, okay? And after the game is over, I'm like, I have to ask this guy. Like, I have to understand, like, why he works like that. Right. So after the game is over, I'm like, hey, Kobe, like, why were you in the gym for so long? He's like, because I saw you come in. And I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter how hard you work, that I'm willing to work harder than you.
Wow.
You inspired me to be better. Right. And it was the first time I started to see this level of competitiveness where I said, I need to start doing more. Right. Wow. But you never get better if you're not willing to put in the time. And basketball is very similar to the game of life. There's going to be ups and downs. It's not always going to be easy. There are going to be challenges. There's still going to be curveballs thrown at me. But if you put in the work and you constantly put in the work, that's the only way you're going to grow.
Yes, so you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. And for you to become one of the best, for you to become a goat at anything you do, I know not everyone wants to get there, but for those of us who wants to become, the greatest at what they do, you have to be willing to work harder than everyone else. Now the question is, are you willing to work harder than Moses? If you're willing to work harder than Moses, I want you to go to the chat box and tell us, I am willing to work harder than you. That is what I want you to type. I am willing to work harder than you. And I know majority of you have my phone number. If one day you want to displace me from the income position that they have put me today, then guys, you have to work harder than me. That is the truth. That is the truth of the matter. You have to work harder than me. So let's be willing to put in the work, the energy, the sweat, everything. Then one of the things that usually happens, when you work so hard, you grow also a lot. Within the shortest time, you grow very fast. And if you are not good at anything, let's say you are struggling with closing, follow-up, inviting, challenge yourself. Probably for 1 month, put in very massive action. And there's something we call the law of averages. It will make you better. Your skill level is going to go above the roof within the shortest time, and you'll be good at that thing. So whatever you're not good at, put in massive action, and before you know it, you are good enough. So what does the law of averages say? It says the more times you take action, the more times you are going to be rejected, but the more times you will find success. Let me repeat, the more times you take action, the more times you are rejected, and the more times you will find success. So I want us to go outside there. Let's be men enough, let's be women enough to put in the action. Take those rejections, don't fear them. Be willing to do whatever it takes to get you to the top. All right, so that is number 4, massive action. Massive action. One of the things I know has really helped a lot of people to get to the top. Their skill level might be so low, but they work harder than the rest. Their skill level might be low, but they work harder than the rest in the room. Then number 5 is leadership. Can we type leadership? Now they say everything rises and falls on leadership. If you see an organization that is doing well, like Safaricom, we always attribute the success to the leadership, not the employees, the leadership. When you see a school that is performing, like maybe Alliance High School, you attribute the success to the leadership, the principal. If you find a football team, probably they are not performing like Chelsea right now. The guys on Twitter, they won't go there and blame the players. The person they are blaming is the coach. This coach is not good at planning the game. Yet the coach is not even within the field, but then he's the leader of this entire team. So leadership is very important because it gives direction, it gives people, what they need to do, how to do it, and all this. So leadership is one of the things we also need to master if we really want to get to the top in our industry. So there are different types of leaders. There are different types of leaders. There are leaders that they lead through inspiration. Some leaders lead through manipulation. We've also seen them. People like Adolf Hitler, the dictators of those times, they were using manipulation tactics. Someone like the president of South Korea, they are using manipulation tactics. But then we have leaders who lead through inspiration, through servant leadership. And that is where we need to be. That is where we need to be. Now, I've seen a lot of people, they are looking for better leaders to guide them. You ask someone that, why are you not doing well? It is my leader. How? How is your leader connected to your success? How is your leader connected to your success? So many of us are not willing to, take responsibility and become that leader that they want, to lead them. And one of the things I always tell people is that don't be looking for that leader, become one. Because if all of us could do that, then the world would become a better place. Instead of saying, oh, my upline doesn't do this, my upline doesn't do that. Why don't you do those things yourself so that you become a better leader for your team going forward? So I want you to listen to one of the videos from my mentors as well, as he dissects different kind of leaders and what leaders should do. This video, every time I listen to it, I always become a better leader myself. So I want you to listen yourself. I never wanted to explain the tips myself. I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth. So let's listen.
If they have the ability to make people follow, I want you guys to recognize that there's two ways to truly help somebody. The first is manipulation, while the second is inspiration. Acts of manipulation are having people fear consequences. If you don't do this, this will happen. And you see, leaders don't manipulate. Another action when it comes to manipulation is to take away in order to influence individuals. If you're using the takeaway method in order to scare somebody into doing what it is that you want, you are not leading them, you are not inspiring them, you are manipulating them. You see, the problem with manipulation is that it doesn't breed loyalty, it doesn't breed trust, and it is not sustainable. You see, one of the acts of inspiration is putting people in an environment to win. You could make more friends in 2 months being genuinely interested in people than you would in 2 years trying to get people interested in you. Another act of inspiration, guys, another act of inspiration is serving unconditionally. Yes, we understand as chairmen that we are not chairmen because of our own doings. We recognize that. And in order to get to chairman, you have to pay your dues. I've been in this industry for 7 years, guys. I've never seen servant leadership like the one behind these barriers right here. I've never seen people put their money back into their business the way the people behind these bars do. I've never seen people spend so much time on the road, spend so much energy, spend so much spirituality on their team as the people behind these ropes. Now that people trust you, you have to make sure that they're trusting you for the right reasons. Again, we have an identity crisis when it comes to leadership. And it's hard to recognize leadership when there's so many people online flaunting cars, when there's so many people online flaunting watches, when there's so many people online flaunting a lifestyle that they may not be. And it's hard because now everybody's starting to camouflage and look the same. And people are becoming desensitized towards it. I want you to understand that if you're a leader, you have a responsibility. And that responsibility isn't to help you with your rank. That responsibility isn't to help you with your volume. That responsibility isn't to help yourself. It is a responsibility to make sure that you are leading people in the proper direction. You understand me? Because if you're trying to go chairman, guys, I promise you, 99% of your day is not about you. It's not about your loved ones. It's not about the things that are going on in life. Guys, we just like you go through heartbreak. We just like you go through death. We just like you go through the same exact things. Doubt, insecurities, anxiety. But we have to push that aside because we got people that are depending on us. So on the same time that you can do that, that's when you're properly leading. But make sure that you're doing so with the right intentions. Make sure that you're doing so in order to build a relationship, not a relationship. A real relationship. What do I mean by that? It's authentic. My team, my squad, this entire room, this company knows for a fact that this energy is real.
Yes, so if you're going to be a great leader, it's not about you, it's about the people. And that is why, you know, when you are launching this system, we said it quite clearly that this year we want to forget about ourselves. We want to forget about what we can get, and we want to focus on the people, because we say that people will always come first over the profits. The moment you take care of your people, the profits, they'll follow you automatically. So let's be servant leaders, let's be willing to help those guys who are working with us, those guys in our teams. Let's do everything to help them, climb to the top. So I want to share with you a few leadership laws. And the first one is that a leader must have a superior attitude to those they lead. You cannot be a leader and you're whining and crying to your downlines. There is no way. The negativity, you should take it upwards. Every time you talk to your team, it should be positive, positive, positive. And whenever there's a challenge, try to look at the positive side of it. Challenges are always there, and the attitude that you approach them with is what really matters. Somebody looks at the glass, he sees it half empty, while the other one sees it half full. That is what we call attitude. So a leader must have a superior attitude compared to those that they lead. Number two, a leader must have a dream larger than those they lead. Make sure that every time, your vision is bigger, whatever you're working on is bigger, because people will only follow if they know you are taking them to a better place than where they are right now. But then, of course, leaders are committed to persistence and determination. They don't give up easily. They don't give up easily. And you can study from our leaders that we have today, 4, 5, 6 years of experience. These guys are still grinding. As people quit, we believe in the power of the vision and dream that we still have, all right? Then leaders, they make a commitment to personal growth. They are always green, they are always learning. Look at the participant list. Our leaders are here. They are learning, they are getting the information, they are getting better each and every day. Then number 5, leaders must display commitment to integrity and character. And this by far is the most important. I always say this in all my trainings, because I've seen people in this business who had very big potentials, but because they had a bad character, they were taking shortcuts here and there. They were dishonest in one way or the other. These guys are no longer with us because of that. And guys, we are going to make it big. That I can guarantee you. As the leader of this organization, I can see, sometimes I can see what most of you guys cannot see. We are going to make it very big, very big. In fact, this year we might even have over 60 car achievers this year alone. And the moment we get there, our integrity is what matters the most. So make sure at the level where you are, maintain highest level of integrities and character, so that you don't spoil whatever good that you're working on. Then a leader must always outwork the team. As I was explaining earlier, leaders, we must be working harder than everyone else within our organization. So that is leadership. The number 6 is you have to build your vision. You have to build your vision. So what is vision? Now, some of us confuse vision for goals. Now, vision is not your goal. Vision is how you see yourself. You might just be a student right now, but how do you see yourself? In your mind, how do you see yourself? You might be someone's employee. Probably the job that you do, you don't feel like you fit in that place, but how do you see yourself? At one point, I was listening to a motivational speech, and it was talking about Oprah Winfrey, that Oprah Winfrey at 23, she was being fired. I think she already had a child. She was fired from her job. But then Oprah didn't know that at probably 50, 60 years, she'll be a billionaire. But then, even though she was being let out of her job, Oprah knew very well the person that she would become. She had a vision of herself. One day I want to get to this point, I want to get to that point. So guys, we have to see ourselves as that big leader. Usually when I walk in town, with my, we call them shades, I always try to imagine, I'm on these streets, I'm that kind of successful person. I try to imagine when I see a Range Rover parked somewhere, I try to imagine, probably that Range Rover is mine. I find a G-Wagon, I say, probably that is my G-Wagon in another 2-3 years. So I always see myself as that successful person, you know, as somebody who is being admired, being followed, you know, a good example in the industry. So everything I do, you know, it tries to take me closer to those things. And for some of us, things might not be going on well, you know. We can compare you to the cat, but when you look at yourself in the mirror, I want you to see the lion. I want you to see the lion. Let's go to the chat box and type, I am a lion. I am a lion. We want you to see yourself as that person who is going to really make it big in the industry, in the network marketing industry, and probably inspire so many people, create a lot of impact and all that. You know, always see yourself that way. Now we have 3 things that shape our vision, and you have to really take care of these 3. Number 1, what people say about you. It will really determine the kind of person you see yourself as. And what I'll advise, try to stay away from people who speak negatively about you. Try to be around guys who believe in you, not the guys who tolerate you. If your friends, they always tell you negative things, oh, you are in a pyramid scheme, oh, you've not become a millionaire yet, oh, you are a con man, ignore these people. I always say sometimes, even if they're your family members, you know, cut some of these ties for some time. You know, some of you have boyfriends, girlfriends who discourage you all the time. That is the wrong environment, you know, cut it off, because trust me, your success is more important than some of this. Your success is more important than some of this. We have a whole lifetime to live. Some of you are left with 40, 50, 60 years. Imagine if you're going to suffer because somebody gave you a negative opinion. You just listen to someone who never knew even what they are talking about. Then number 2 are the results that you've experienced in the past. Now, they might be negative or positive. If they're negative, don't rely on them so much. You can always do better. If they are positive, I want you to beat your chest and tell yourself, if I did it back then, you know, if you are the best student in your class at one time, if you are the best footballer in your football team, you can also become the best, you know, in this industry, in network marketing. If you're doing so well in your church, you know, you are so much respected there. If you're doing so well, probably back in your village where you came from, if you're doing so well at a particular place, why not do it here, you know? The same self-confidence you had back then, we want you to bring it into the business and tell yourself, I can do this. Personally, one of the things that has kept me going is my past achievements, you know? I rarely fail at anything I do. Like everything I do, like I just want it to be good. So when I joined the industry, I always tell myself, there's no way, you know, there's no way I can give up. In fact, I always tell Maina is one of my close confidants, that for me, I can never leave this business when I'm not successful. Like I have to make an impact first, you know, before I say I'm retiring. Because if I don't retire when I'm at that level, you know, I'll go outside there as a failure. And I don't want to be considered such kind of a person. Then number 3 is what you say or think about yourself. They always say, if the enemy that is within us, you know, is the most dangerous. The ones that are outside there, it really doesn't matter. So what you say or think about yourself, you know, that is the most important thing. And our thoughts, our feelings, you know, these things really matter a lot. So I talked about the subconscious mind earlier on, and this one affects a lot of things. So guys, every day I want us to feed our minds with the positive things, the right things, you know, the right things we want to achieve in future, because our subconscious mind, it doesn't know. It doesn't have filters, but it is very powerful. It is very powerful. It is very creative. Whatever you tell it, it will agree with it. So every day tell your mind, you know, I'm the best, I can do this. I had done it before, so I'm going to do it again. If so and so did it, why not me? So try to put those, you know, positive stuffs in your mind, and automatically we are going to get there. And apart from just telling yourself some of these things, you also need pictures, you know, you need pointers, things that guide you towards where you want to be. And this one is what we call vision board. Can we type vision board? How many of us have vision boards? How many of us have vision boards? Now, vision boards are very important. You know, at one point, I think it was 2020, we go to the yards and I fall in love with a BMW. So I come back and download a picture and put the BMW there. Okay, I was not even sure if I really want it, but at the back of my mind, I loved that car. Like the picture I had seen, you know, the car I saw in the yard, and I decided to put it as my screensaver. So after 3 months, we go to Mombasa, and we were just looking for a nice car that I could buy. I was with Lewis and Joseph. So they show us a Mazda CX-5, you know, they show us a Crown, they show us another BMW. Then as we were just moving along the road, we see the exact same car that was in my laptop. You know, I also had my laptop there. I carried it in my bag. We see the exact same car and it was just parked outside there. So we tell the guy, the taxi guy, that, you know, let's turn, let's go back there. So we were not sure whether the car was being sold or not. But Joseph said, this one, kiongozi itawamaliza. And those are the kind of words that I love to hear, you know, when I'm purchasing a car. And the guy takes us back, and the car was not being sold, by the way. It was not being sold. It belonged to the owner of that yard. So we talk to him, and he tells us, but if you guys are serious, I can sell this car to you. He had just bought it, you know, he really loved the BMW. So we negotiate with him, and he agrees to sell to me the car. And when I came back, you know, checking my screen, I say, wow, you know, the car is exactly the same. And that is the power of, you know, seeing your dreams. So on your phone, you need to put your vision board there as the screensaver. And don't just put, you know, funny things. You have put the face of someone. Kwani, you want to be that someone. You put your dreams there. If you want to, probably your family, let them be part of the vision board, but then the vision board should contain, you know, almost everything that you want in the business. And one of the guys that really recommends this is Steve Harvey. And I want you to listen to this video.
Somebody asked me the other day, they saw my vision board, they said, man, where your dream car at? They in the driveway. They've been marked off the vision board a long time ago. The vision boards work. I'm not bragging, I'm telling you how this works. You don't think I got all these TV shows, I ain't making no money now. I'm out here hustling and grinding, but I'm willing to work. You gotta write everything you want down. Now, if you want, like I said, you can go to school, try to get you another degree. I don't have one. I'm telling you what I did to get here. I learned a few scriptures that made some good sense to me. You have not because you ask not. So you mean to tell me if I just keep asking you for it and believing in it, that's one way to get it? Okay, cool. Then you tell me faith without works is dead. You tell me if I believe in you and I'm willing to work, I should have it. But I can't believe in it and don't work and I won't get it. Okay, I understand that one. And then you tell me to write the vision and make it plain. I can do this. These are things you can do today.
Yeah, so those are things you can do today. If you don't have a vision board, create one, guys. Create one, because every day you look at those pictures, trust me, your brain is attracting them to you. The universe is going to respond. Now, lastly, the last secret is taking 100% responsibility. Taking 100% responsibility. So the first question, what do you think has caused your biggest failure or lack of success in the business so far? What do you think has caused your lack of success in the business so far? Is it because of you know, negative Kenyans? Is it because probably somebody spoiled the name of the company? What is it? What is it that is probably preventing you from making? Is it your upline? Maybe they are not serious with the business. They are not active. You know, they are just there. They're just sitting there. Your upline is not supportive. You know, what do you think is causing the problem? Is it because they never did proper orientation to you? All right, so I don't want an answer. I just want you to think about it. Now, a lot of us, we blame our failure or lack of success on other people. You know, I've met people who say, oh, the company website is this and that. It doesn't convert. Oh, my upline, this and that. It doesn't do 1, 2, 3. Oh, my downlines, They are just sleeping. They are doing nothing. Oh, social media is corrupted. People are so negative. Oh, the government is against us. The taxes are so high. This is why I can't make it. Oh, Corona did this, Corona did that. Now, guys, don't play victim to circumstances that you created. If there is something that is not happening right, then you're supposed to take 100% responsibility. You are the reason why it is not working out well. So let's take responsibility on anything that is not going right within our business. You know, the other day I had someone say that the reason the people are not joining is because we are giving them the pay bill of the company. Who says so? We gave that pay bill in 2017 all the time, and we made millions. 2018, we made millions, you know. Someone says we don't have a website. Well, we are creating one for you that will help you guys to convert. Your uplines, if they're not there, Moses is there. I'm your top upline in BSc. I'm going to be there full time. If your downlines are not doing whatever they need to do, get other downlines. You know, forget about the ones you have, get other new downlines. If social media is not working for you, then it means you don't know how to use it. Go and learn, attend the seminars and all this. The government, create your own government, you know. You can run your own economy outside here. Corona, shut your ears from Corona completely. So solve your problems, guys. Let's not blame anyone, because when you start blaming, you become powerless. And there's this law of sowing and reaping, which I want us to go through quickly. So we reap only what has been sown. If you don't sow, you don't reap. So take responsibility and start doing the work. We also reap the same kind as we sow. If you sow bad, you are going to reap bad. If you sow good, you are going to reap good. The guy is not inviting, he expects money. How? The guy is not training the downlines, he expects duplication. How? The guy is not investing in the business, he's not learning, he's not adding accounts, he's not changing his dress code. He expects to be a top leader. How? You reap the same kind as what you sowed. So if you're going to sow bad, expect poor results. All right, we also reap in a different season than the one we saw. I always see a lot of us give up quite quickly. Imagine if the guy who planted, maize back in Uasin Gishu, he gives up after 1 week, 1 month, that the maize are not producing. After 2 months, the maize are not producing. There is a time frame. I'm told the elephant takes some number of months before they deliver. The moment they get expectant. You cannot expect the elephant to deliver in 4 months. There's a time frame that they have to take. So even in our business, this success takes time, guys. And you have to know that the season you are working is not the season that the money is going to come in. And you must be patient. As you put in the work, you must be patient. I was very patient in 2020. The money was not coming the way I wanted, but I knew whatever I'm doing now is going to pay in a few months. And the last 2 months, we have done so much, trust me. I always take count of what we do. We have done so much, and the results are not showing up today. Whatever we've been doing in December, whatever we are doing in January, whatever we'll do in February, most of you, it will start paying you in April and May. And according to my projection in April and May, a lot of you will be making over 200,000 a month. That I can tell you, based on my experience. If we continue doing the same things, the trainings, the DMO, religiously every day without giving up, we are going to reap in that season. And next, we reap more than we sow. You might just be doing a little, but whatever you'll get will be so much big. Number 5, we reap in proportion to what we sow. So whatever you do, expect just a certain amount. You cannot surpass someone who is working harder than you. So if you want to surpass them, work harder, outworking them, as we've said. Then lastly, we reap the full harvest of good in due time. So those are the laws of sowing and reaping. So lastly, as I end my session, allow me to end with this powerful quote from one of the greatest people to ever live on earth. It's called President Theodore Roosevelt. This is the 26th president of the United States of America. So Theodore says, far better is it to dare mighty things to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in a gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat. And guys, outside here, there are a lot of people, that will try to pull us down, they try to bring us to their level. These guys are not happy with their lives. They are really suffering. You look at their homes where they are recording the videos, where they are chatting from, look at their profile pictures. The guy is suffering. But then some of you decide, to lower yourselves, collude with these people, listen to them. And you're leaving your mentor, who is already living in a leafy suburb. He knows how you can get there. The guy is already driving not one, not two, not three cars, several cars. They know how you can get there, right? Some of us, we are not willing to probably dare ourselves to do the great things. So guys, as we get out of this training, now that we've learned the 7 secrets that can get us 7-figure income, let's go outside there and dare the world. Let us dare those dreams. Let us go outside there and win. Let us go there and accumulate massive success, because the greatest thing you can do for your family, the greatest thing you can do for the poor people, is to succeed. Don't be like the poor ones. Be the good example to them, be a good example to your family, be a good role model to your team, by getting great success. So guys, thank you so much. Allow me to hand it back to Bwana Joseph Kwaitametu. Sorry, before we do that, I'm going to send the assignment, which is to watch 7 secrets to 7 figures. So I'm going to send the video to your groups. Make sure you watch it and cement some of these points that I've talked about. So back to you, Joseph, if you can hear me. Joseph Kwaitamet or Minor, one of you can end for us the session.
Okay, amazing. Thank you very much, Mentor, for a powerful training. All of us, let's take this time and appreciate Mentor Moses. Let's go to the chat box and appreciate Mentor Moses. Let's go to the chat box. Let's see. I can see from Alice. I can see. Let's appreciate. Let's some fire to tume moto hapo. Let's appreciate Mentor Moses. Very good. Thank you very much. Powerful.